We're going to talk college football and more with a college football coach who got fired at the end of last season. Bruce Barnum, the former Portland State football coach, breaks his silence on today's show. Plus, Jon Wilner will join us to talk college football, and Olivia reads the news. Stick around. Bruce Barnum was the head football coach at Portland State for 11 seasons. There were some highs. He won 9 games in his first season, and there were some lows. He went 0-11 in his third season. He went 39-75, not a great record. But anybody who knows what Bruce Barnum was up against at Portland State understands he was fighting the good fight. Portland State was underfunded. Portland State was playing in a conference where there were clearly some haves at the top of the conference beating up on the have-nots at the bottom. His scholarships, not the same as the other schools within his own conference. Barnum left after 11 seasons with his head held high, but he was fired unceremoniously by his athletic director, Matt Billings, essentially on the tarmac at the airport. It was a classless way to end a tenure that deserved a lot better and a lot more class. Barnum didn't speak out. He didn't lash out. He didn't talk about Billings. He didn't talk about the excuses at the end of the season. In fact, he didn't say anything after being fired at Portland State. He went quiet. He breaks that silence on today's show. Stick around, Bruce Barnum, in an exclusive interview right here on BFT Unfiltered. All right, Bruce Barnum, friend of the show, joining us, former Portland State football coach. It looks like, are you in your backyard? Where are you today?
Side yard, John. Side yard.
Okay.
Something different. Come out here. We got some work to do before we hit the river tomorrow. There's 4 of us going to go out for a couple of days and enjoy this before the college football season kicks off.
What do you get when you're out in the outdoors? And you like being on the river. You like fishing.
I love the water, John. I like getting out too. We go up river about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Not to be rude, but I don't like people. I don't like crowds when I'm on the water, when I fish. That's my sanctuary, Anyway, going to go out and catch some bass and take some pictures of the big ones and throw them back like I always wanted to do when I was working at that school at Portland State.
Let's talk about that school. It didn't end how you wanted it to end, but did you see it coming? Did you know? I mean, I think we had you on the radio show right before that, and you were talking like a guy who knew that no one was talking to you. They stopped talking to you.
Well, yeah, John, every job in college football, unless you're at a Mecca and you're winning them all, and that's few and far between. It's going to go sour at some point. I don't care what you say. I had a good run, had fun. I don't have any regrets. Did it end how I wanted? No, but give me a better way. I mean, there really isn't a good way. Did I see it coming? We talked about that. I was on the show when you were asking that because shoot, I saw it coming every day. How are we going to deal with this? Let's as we're MacGyver and everything and sticking it back together and then losing a close one or whatever. But there was, and I told you there's things that I thought it might not happen because of promises made, but water under the bridge. I got fired. I wish the next regime, I'll follow them. There's some good kids on that team. I'm going to enjoy watching them. I wish them the best.
I have to think that there's some camaraderie between, Nigel Burton, who was before you, and now Chris Fisk. I mean, you're all dealing with the same headache. You're dealing with the same financial puzzle. What was that like to be in the middle of that?
Well, first off, when you told me we should do this and, your people hadn't heard from me since Portland State, but I came up with a list of thank yous, and Nigel's actually the first one on there. He gave me an opportunity. He had the same headaches. Tim Walsh and I probably talked about it the most, and he called it to the dollar. I mean, just, hey, is this happening? And I'm like, geez, Tim, how'd you know? Because he lived it. So, yeah, there's a camaraderie, but you're stubborn. You're a coach, and you're going to beat the odds, So you try to put it together. And again, we had a fun run. There were some good times in there. Do I want to win more games? Sure, but give another guy a shot.
Yeah. What was it like when you had success? Because you had that one year in particular, it was very special.
Yeah.
And you get to a level that Portland State had not seen and maybe hadn't even thought about getting to. That had to feel really validating.
It was. You can't buy that, John. You can't buy it, man. I don't care how much money, what you want to sell. That feeling, that situation, that season was a magical season,
What happened that year that doesn't happen in the other years?
I had a quarterback that was lights out. We kind of ended up with him because Virginia wanted to make him a wide receiver. He was on offense. He was a key. On defense, we had guys. There were already some guys there that we just moved around, put in the right spots. Peanut, Patrick Arnswar was with Baltimore. We had some dudes, and nobody was trying to buy them. They had a home, and nobody was offering them any money, so they stuck around, and we put it together.
Give us an idea. Coaching the Big Sky Conference at Portland State. At the beginning of the year, is that when the headache starts, when you're putting the budget together? Is it the off season? Is it the unexpected things that they come to you later and go, hey, we don't have money for this? Or where are the big challenges?
That one could go for the biggest. When Ann Cudd got the seat as president, she called us in as coaches, and I said, Cudd Missile, I said, here's if you want football to win, if you want me to be a hero, if you want to be a hero, if you want to go to the playoffs, drop my money games and fix my scholarships. If you talk about all the headache, we could go into everything, if we wanted to go down that alley, John. But those two things, not even NIL money, just give the kids what everybody else has scholarship-wise and drop those money games. So you get off healthy and you win a couple, instead of being a 1% or 3% at the beginning and everything, So I think that would fix the program right there. You don't have to build anything. Change those two things and see what happens.
Yeah, because you're talking about at the beginning of the year, you're playing 3 or 4 games every season where you don't have a shot. I mean, in a blue moon, you beat Washington State that one year. You beat Mike Leach. But in most years, you're losing those games, and you're losing guys during those games.
Well, you remember what I did? That got frustrating as heck. And I think I know I talked to you about when we played Oregon last. I mean, Dan Lanning, I want him to win a national championship. He hung a snowman on me, and I was like, it's all right, because I played freshman. Yeah. After it was out of hand, I said, I'm going to try to stay healthy. I put my freshman in, and it looked like a backyard football game, barbecue. But that was my thing. And, 80, holy jumping catfish. That's a lot of points watching the green and yellow run by you. But I had a plan, I had a plan. So they're hard. And you play one like Oregon, you want to play those, and we've talked about this. You want to play those North Texas, the power fours or whatever, the lower level, mid-level.
Yeah, you gave up 80 to Oregon. Do you remember what that was like? What did Lanning say to you on the field? You guys talk about that after?
Well, I watched the game. He took people out. It wasn't like, I'm going to take Barney and I'm going to run his ass right back to Portland, Oregon. This guy's a punk. He did everything in his power that game. He didn't have to say anything. I saw what he did. I shook his hand at the end. He had other things to worry about, coming up the next week. But I had no ill feelings there. He tried to pull the reins back.
The scholarships you mentioned, can you help us with that? Because I don't think a lot of people understand how scholarships work at a place like Portland State. How is it different?
Well, ours don't equal. If you're on a full ride at Portland State, it doesn't equal a full ride at any other university in the Big Sky. It was about half that, about half everybody else's. It hasn't changed since they went Division One. We give our kids $800 a month. $2,400 a semester, and we tell them, go eat, live, be healthy. You need to eat the right things, so we're big and strong. We don't get a snowman from Landings, and that's not enough, John. That's not enough. So we begged, borrowed, stealed. I mean, I was getting burritos at Park Blocks, whatever we could do. I made a deal with a woman the girl downstairs that runs the market for food. I did everything just trying to feed the guys. So, but that money, I had recruits come in, coach. I mean, they wanted to come here, but I'm not going to work and play college football. I have 1 year left, transfers. And I understood, but that's what it was. We didn't bitch. We tried to find a way around it. I had recruits come in, coach. I mean, they wanted to come here, but I'm not going to work and play college football. I have 1 year left, transfers. And I understood, but that's what it was. We didn't bitch. We tried to find a way around it.
You had to play the money games.
Yeah.
That was hard that last year. And, I know at the beginning of the year, I felt like the athletic director had backed you. Did I read that wrong? I mean, because by the end of the year, he's not talking to you, and then, you're getting off the plane and it's over. But
yeah, I knew things were a bit awry when he put somebody else in charge of me, in charge of football. That was a red flag. I've never been to a university where the athletic director wasn't in charge of football. That wasn't their sport. So that kind of made me think, all right, what do we got going here? And I didn't hold any punches. I went in and asked him. I said, I stated my opinion of that. And I said, all right, let's go. But when they stopped traveling, they weren't talking to me. That was fine. But when they stopped traveling with me, except that last game, I knew that you and I's conversations were probably coming to fruition.
So the AD was not going on the road, and the athletic department was not bringing their administrators to the games.
Not towards the end of the game. They came to the last one. But we just went. Mike Lund, my sports information director, who was another thank you I have. We're down to 25. He was an administrator, so it made it all legal.
Wow.
So
I see.
But we just kept going.
All right, so you lose that last game. You get back on the plane. Are you looking around? Are you looking for where's the AD? Do you expect he's going to meet with you the next day? How does that go down?
Oh, no. Do you think people want to hear this?
Yeah.
Do they? All right.
I think they do.
I was walking back to the locker room. I got a text. I hadn't heard from him in a while, so I was like, hey, last time I think I'd heard from him was when we beat Cal Poly. Down there, I got a nice job. I said, hey, thanks. But he texted, let's meet. I need to meet with you immediately as soon as you're off the plane. I said, all right, and that was it. So then you're on the plane. I got administrators there, so I'm kind of watching them, and they seemed a little happier than you do after a win. So anyway, and true story. Once I did see him, because I've got history with the guy. I shook his hand. I said, hey, it's good to see you. Finally, I haven't seen you. Thanks for, saying hi. I said, but I'm guessing that letter in your hand, this isn't going to be, one of our old deals. And that's how it went down. So again, there's probably no good way to do it. It was done. It's water under the bridge now. And I don't, I'm not sitting there going, oh, son of a bitch. I'm not, John. I had a fun run.
I know, but how long were you there before even head coach? How long? How much time?
I was there a few moons.
Yeah.
I came in with Nigel. That was working towards 20.
Okay. So you're working towards 20 years. You could have gone other places.
Yeah.
You were barnstorming with this team. You were paying for some things out of your own pocket.
Yeah. Yep.
You were buying, bartering, and trading to get these guys fed. And at the end of it, I would kind of expect the athletic director to call you into his office the next day, maybe, and have a cordial, professional conversation. Instead, you're on the tarmac at the airport, or are you just off the tarmac? I mean, who's going to quibble with that?
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, John, it's the first time because I've been fired on staffs before. I don't think anybody in this profession hasn't. That was my first time as a head coach. It was my first head coaching gig. So I didn't know I was supposed to go down. I heard the one guy, the Kiffin guy, he got fired in the tarmac, so I took a little
Yeah,
pride in it. Hey,
yeah,
I'm just like, I'm big time here, big time ball coach. But sure, if he'd done that, he was still giving me that letter. So you
yeah.
know, do it how you think's right.
What's
You
on the
know,
letter? What does the letter say?
oh, it's an all HR stuff.
No. Okay.
Do this, get out of your office. We had to be out the next day, Sunday at 5. We had to be out, or we are going to be escorted. And I'm like, geez, get some trash cans in there. I got a few papers to go through. I've been here a while, but we cleared out, cleaned them. I made everybody clean them, and left it, for the transition. And good luck, Coach Fisk. Let's go.
You'll be paid, I think, through the end of this college football season. I mean, that's one of the benefits of being a coach with a contract. But what do you miss right now? Are you missing sort of the day to day, or are you enjoying the break from it?
John, I'm, for 35, 37 years, 30 plus years, I've been working 7 days a week, just trying to, how can we beat these guys? What I miss is practice and the players. I loved practice. Practice took me away from all the friendly fire, anything I had to deal with. I was out there and it was football. It was like, whew, and then a game day. I stayed in the locker room after a win or after a loss, and I just soaked it in because that's why I was doing it, But then I had to go, I knew I had things to deal with, good and bad. But that's probably what I missed. And I will miss because I'm sure everybody's about to kick off now. But those are the two things, and the scheming. I remember probably the most upset I was at Portland State. I studied Arizona. They were down that year, and we're playing them. I studied them damn near every day, from personnel to staff to what they did. I watched every game. I had charts all over. They were our first money game, and COVID came and the game was canceled. And I looked at all that stuff in my, because you're not going to play them again. I threw it up. Come on. That was, but that part of it, the planning to win, that's what I thrived on. So,
what don't you miss? Like, what part of it are you like, if I never did that again, that would be all right?
People say I'm happy now. People say, wow, you look, well, what are you doing? You look different. You act different, and then a coach said, hey, you act all the time now like practice or game day, because there were things. And I found out, I can't always be myself. My mouth gets me in trouble. And so you have to be a head coach and represent the university. I was young. Didn't know what I was doing. So I don't miss any of that. I mean, it's kind of like a cloudless, all right, and I felt like saying, and again, I'm done. This is our end of Portland State and Bruce Barnum, our separation interview. And I truly wish them the best. I want them to win, John, but you got to put some things in place. And I hope, they're trying it a different way. They've got some different help. And GM. I hope they put it together and go to the playoffs. I'll cheer every win.
If we were going to hire you as a consultant to help Portland State win, first recommendation that you would make to Ann Cudd, the university president, Matt Billings, the athletic director, and Lord of the Tarmac, what would you say to those people? All right, here's Barney's wisdom.
Those two things I already did, because I didn't want to go to Ann Cudd when she got the job. And okay, no, now what's going on with athletics? Football wise, if you want to win, if you want that, scholarships and money games. I only have money games out till 27. Delete them. And essentially that's putting $1 million into the program, and you're gambling. You're going to get that back by excitement, by crowd, by winning, that and the money. You got to get the players in there. Because
you're right, because like the Montana schools, they're not playing those games, but they're drawing fans. And so there's a yin and a yang there, like our chicken and the egg, what comes first, right? So if you can go, who would you play instead of playing Oregon and Washington State and Mississippi State?
Well, the FCS teams. And FCS, don't play be smart about it. Don't play the North Dakota State, who's on top of the Missouri Valley, because they pay you. They called me and offered me $250,000 to play them. And they're an FCS. I want the guys in their league, but down. Give me the middle of the pack. Play those teams, Then and that way you're getting rid of us playing, the Eastern Oregons of the world, because those wins don't help Portland State to the playoffs. An FCS win does, an FBS win does, but the FBS are hard to come by. Give Chris Fisk 2 more FCS games and see what he does. He'll be a goddamn hero.
I am looking at his schedule this year, and I see 0-4 to start. How hard is that on the locker room when you're getting beat like that? Even though we all know, hey, this is a mismatch, that's a tough thing for kids, isn't it?
You and I talked about this throughout our time when I was at Portland State, John. It's don't lose the game before you get there. I preach that. But everybody in the program knows going into Oregon, the odds of us winning that game are their odds. I don't even know if it's a .001. I mean, that's a tough-ass game. So what do? You want to keep your team healthy, but they don't want to sit down. You say, hey, you guys aren't playing this week. That's not going to work. So I didn't tell anybody except you, and I did it at after halftime. I said, all right, freshmen, let's go. No, you don't need those bags. You're not scout team. You're playing Oregon. But if you get rid of those, you got a shot.
If you're not playing those games, then you're playing these other games and you're winning a little bit. But, there would be some people who would say that the Big Sky, Portland State, they shouldn't be playing football because if you can't, if you're not going to compete, what are you doing? What do you say to people who say it should just be bagged up?
There's a lot more to the game of football. There's a lot more that athletic program brings to that university, in my opinion. There's 1,000 opinions. But athletics at a university, football at a university, whether it's in Portland State's different. Portland State's not, name one in the Big Sky. There's 13 now. They're not them. They're themselves. So find that niche and run with it. Have fun with it. Make it a thing on campus that is part of it, And I tried that. And Coach Fisk will try that. Nigel tried it. Try to ingrain yourself in some way, whether it's helping with moving, just become part of it. But it's not gonna then you got to get them out to the stadium. How do you get them to the field? They can't walk over and watch the game. That's a whole new deal.
Back to on the subject of the field, you're playing out in Hillsboro, and this is no reflection on people in Hillsboro, but That's a tough place to recruit to. So if you're trying to get your guys to come to town and play for Portland State football, do you take them out to Hillsborough and show them the stadium, or you just skip it?
If they ask. We didn't bring them out there, John, unless they asked. If they said, hey, where do you play? We'd be like, oh, let's jump in a car and go out there. We tried to throw Portland at them, throw the green screen and take their picture and, put them with an axe and their parents and feed them Portland food. When I was there, they ate everything I could give them, from park blocks to downtown to carts. Show them I have one view of Portland that I told the guys on the city tour. I said, make sure they see this at night. It's coming from I-5 South, and you come around and you first see the city and those lights. We had that all planned out, but the stadium wasn't there. Again, love Hillsborough. Those people took care of us, on game day. They were great, but come on, that's a ways away. It doesn't work.
What now for you? Do you want to coach again?
I'm not going to this season. I took some time, and now it's kind of too late. There were 3 things I almost jumped into, John, but they didn't work out for either my side or their side. My youngest, Cooper, got married, so I kind of said, I'm not doing anything until then. They got married in June, and that was a big deal, and I was there, and I enjoyed it, and I took part in all the pregame festivities, and during it, my parents came out. It was an event. And after they got married, I said, all right, we need to figure out, what the hell we're doing. So I don't know right now, a couple things out there, but nothing I'm going to say, I'm doing this, Yeah.
Well, I think we should bring you on and have you look at football games on a week-to-week basis. Why don't you join us for like 5 minutes a week? We'll have you talk about this week's opponent, evaluate Oregon State, what's going on in Portland State. We'll use you as our special analyst on this show.
Yeah, you think they'd want that? Your people?
I think we're going to do it anyway.
All right.
Hey, yeah. I have another question. You're friends with James Franklin.
Yes.
You watched him kind of go through it. He got fired mid-season, and then they came for you. Did you communicate with Franklin at all? Did watching that experience help you deal with it? Tell us kind of what you went through there.
I'll read you the text because we've been going back and forth. Position over currently. Oh, here it is. It's short, real brief. We talked from Franklin to Barnum. Sorry to hear what happened. I can relate. That was what he said. So.
Sorry to hear what happened. I can relate.
So, yeah, we've been going back and forth.
It's true, though. For most coaches, it ends with you carrying a cardboard box.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Greatest game in the world, worst profession in the world. How's that? It really is. I've seen it, and now I lived it. Now I lived it as a head coach. But, how are you going to react? I had some great times. It was a great run. The people to thank. There's some great people there, but it is what it is. I tried to do it. I was stubborn. It didn't work. They gave me, a time. Let's go. Let's do something else. What's next?
Bruce Barnum, I appreciate your time. Good luck fishing. What are you guys fishing for?
Smallmouth.
Okay.
Smallmouth. We take a picture of the big ones and put them back. But
catch and release.
Nobody else fishes smallmouth, so we're up there alone. A lot of rod. Just
like coaching, catch and release. Bruce
right.
Barnum, thank you. We'll get you back on. Let's just have you on. We'll have you evaluate, the season. Like, look, consider this your audition. Dan Lanning, It's got to take a step forward this season. Everybody's looking at Oregon going, can they win it all? That step from being in the semifinal to get to the championship game, how big a step is that?
The support is there. That's what everybody talks about. Everybody talks about Phil Knight. They don't talk about all the other people. Dan feels the pressure, but he's also confident he's learned on his way. He got, there was a thing about his guys being young. Well, they're seasoned now. And when you go through it, with that pressure, you get a little wiser and a little smarter, and you do something a little different, whether it's in the weight room or recruiting or what. So I think Dan Lanning, he's a pup. He's a young guy, but he's a chameleon. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. How about Jamarcus Shepard at Oregon State? First-year head coach. A lot of energy and enthusiasm. That conference is going to be a little bit of a roller derby because, everybody's good and there's no easy ones in that conference right now. But what's he going through? First-year head coach.
Well, I'm going to go a little personal on this one. I don't know him personally, but Mason Wheeler played for him at University of Washington, a wide receiver who knows my kids. And I've never heard Mason Wheeler talk. Mason's a smart kid. He played with Cooper. I've never heard him talk about a coach from professionalism to caring about kids to enthusiasm to football smarts. So, and that was, just random. And I'm like, all right. I said, this guy, nobody knows him. I don't know him, but this guy's got a shot. This guy be all right. That's my opinion on him.
Yeah. And he's got, Oregon State's not Portland State, but there's some challenges, right? You got to make more with less. You got to do some things. You got to MacGyver it a little bit in your own way. So we'll talk about that as the season unfolds. We'll have you on as our football expert. Bruce Barnum, good luck catching the fish.
All right, let's do it. Ready to go. Thanks, John. I'll be in the water.
Right. It's never too early to talk college football. Joining me now, Jon Wilner. You can read him at WilnerHotline.com, and you can see him on Canzano and Wilner, the podcast, every week. Hey, let's dive a little bit into college football. We hit on this in our episode this week, but I want to hit it here a little bit for viewers here. How many teams do you think can win the college football playoff national championship? How many true contenders are there out there?
I think there's probably 8 or 10. But you have to almost include, a sleeper as such, 1 or 2 teams that we don't think could do it, that everything breaks right, and all of a sudden they win a couple playoff games. But really, if you're just going through the rosters and what we know, I just don't know that there's more than about 8 of them. And they're pretty obvious. They've got the, great coaching, and they've got not necessarily the most expensive rosters, but certainly the rosters that fit best. Indiana's a great example. They didn't spend nearly as much as the teams that they walloped last year, but Kirk Cignetti is a genius.
The Big Ten Media Day, one of the stories coming out of that, obviously Kyle Whittingham, Michigan, how that's going to work out. How soon do you think Whittingham can get ultra competitive in the Big Ten?
I think he could do it this year. They got good players. And the thing is, Michigan, they won a lot of games last year. And think about how much dysfunction was going on there. To me, it's amazing they won any games, given what was going on with the head coach and everything else. And now they finally have an adult running the show. And I think that they could absolutely be contending for the Big Ten championship, the last week or two of the season. Maybe the Ohio State game is for a berth in the title game. That would not surprise me at all. But even if they don't do it this year, by next year, given their resources, their ability to attract talent from the transfer portal, by the end of next season, if they're not, in the Big Ten race till the bitter end, then something's gone wrong.
I look at Oregon through this prism of there's a window to win. And part of the equation for me now does include Whittingham, given what he did at Utah. Michigan's going to come back. It's almost like when USC was down in the Pac-12, suddenly there was a chance for Washington and Oregon all of a sudden. How do you view Oregon's window to win?
I think it is actually shorter than maybe most people would. Because if they don't win, at some point, the trajectory for head coaches begins to flatten, right? The momentum, the energy, the feel good, all the recruits want to go there. At some point, that flattens out a little bit. And I think that if they don't take that next step this season with all the attention and all the optimism, Dante Moore coming back, all those guys coming back, the roster, the expectations, if they don't get to that next step, play for the championship, you wonder if the Lanning vibe may dim a little bit, right? They're still going to have the money to attract players, but there's something, it's more than just money. And I just wonder, I really think this is a more important year for him than maybe you'd think, given all the success he's had.
How important is it for the Pac-12 to get into the playoff this year?
I'd give them, I think, let's say, pick a team from the American, Tulane. Tulane gets in, you could say, all right, first year of the new Pac-12. But certainly by next year, the Pac-12, if they want to be considered, the best of the group of six, they need to be in the playoff at least by the end of next season, preferably this season. They have arguably the best team in the group of six, Boise State. I think that you can make a great case for that. But do they have the quality depth that the American has? Is their depth better? How's the scheduling going to work? How are they going to do non-conference? It's all going to be real interesting, but they don't have a whole lot of time to ramp up, right? I mean, they need to prove themselves sooner than later. There's no doubt about that. And if they don't send a team to the playoff this year, then they have to do it next year.
I'm looking at the flex week. I'm looking at the depth of the Pac-12 conference. I'm a little concerned for the conference that they're going to eat their own, that, San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, Oregon State, Washington State, Fresno State. These are good teams, Wilner, and they're all kind of playing in the same space.
A little bit like the Big 12, at least Big 12, say, minus Texas Tech. I kind of agree with you. The difference between 1 and 8, well, we don't know, Colorado State. I don't know. Oregon State, Washington State. You think they'll probably be pretty good, but the 1 to 8 disparity is smaller than it is from top to bottom in a lot of the other leagues, which can make for very compelling action on the weekends, good ratings, all that kind of thing. But you do need to have a big dog. And, that's the thing the Big 12 has been looking for is the big dog. And the ACC's got it with Miami. Pac-12 needs a big dog. Boise seems to be the right one. But, yeah, can they get through this season? If you look at it from Boise's standpoint and say that they lose in Eugene, maybe they're competitive in Eugene. Could they get in the playoff if they lose once in the Pac-12 and then win the conference championship? So, in other words, if they're 11-2 with a loss to Oregon and say a loss to San Diego State regular season, can Boise get in over the best team in the American or the best team in the Mountain West? I don't know. I don't know. I think it depends on how badly they were going to lose to Oregon.
I also am looking and saying, gosh, this is going to be a year where I could pick with a straight face. I can say, hey, Miami and Oregon, that would be a great national title game. I said it months ago. I'm going to stick with that as my pick. How about you? Who's your pick to play for all the marbles? Gun to your head now.
I hadn't really done it yet. I do like Oregon. I'm going to go, if I had to pick 2, so who can win multiple games in the playoff? I would go, part of me wants to say Texas, but then I will regret saying Texas if they don't even make the playoff, right? Yeah. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm going Notre Dame. Notre Dame is my pick to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Is it Notre Dame, Oregon, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Notre Dame, LSU? I will go Notre Dame, Oregon with the Irish winning that.
Neither one of us picking, an SEC team in the title game. That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. And neither of us picking Ohio State either.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works out. I'd love for our viewers to put in the comment section who they think plays for the national title. Jon Wilner, appreciate your time, man.
Thanks.
Well, it's been a great show today. We had Bruce Barnum, the Portland State football coach, who was fired at the end of last season. We had Jon Wilner on the show to talk college football. Big guests still ahead coming down the pipeline. Travis Hunter, the former Heisman Trophy winner, will be on the show in the coming episodes as well. One of my favorite parts, one of your favorite parts of this new show is when Olivia Cleary joins. And by the way, small world connection, Valerie Johnson, now at the University of Oregon, the deputy athletic director, was the athletic director who hired Bruce Barnum at Portland State back in the day. Your mom was the AD that gave Barnum the keys. What was it like to see Barnum on the show?
It's such a small world. So it's so fun to see him on the show. I mean, we haven't heard from him like in a while, like on social media or anything since everything went down at Portland State. But yeah, it's crazy. It's such a small world. I mean, the thing that I remember the most was there was like a game at Portland State where he bought everybody beers. He was like, 21 and up and you come to the game, free beers.
You know how that happened? Do you know the backstory of that?
I should know the backstory.
Okay. He came on my show and we were talking about it, and he makes this off the cuff remark where he says, I'll buy anybody who comes to the game, I'll buy a beer. Well, of course we put it out there. It went bananas on social media. Everybody nationally, they picked up the story, and I'll never forget James Franklin, who was the Penn State coach at the time, sent Bruce Barnum a text saying, "What are you doing buying everyone at the stadium a beer?" That bar tab was more than $14,000. It was $14,438 or something like that. Please tip your server. But that happened. The origin of that was on the show. Barnum would come on every week and he'd say something outlandish. Well, that week it was beer.
Yeah. He's such a character and such like an energizing person. So that like when I heard that he was buying everyone beer, I wish I was surprised, but I was like, that is the most Barney thing ever. Like it just is. If any head coach was going to do that, it would have been Bruce Barnum.
Well, he was always interesting. And of course he was fantastic on today's show. I mean, just so candid, talking about what it was like to get fired, where he failed, what was it like to have Oregon score 80 points on him in that Portland State team a few seasons ago. Really good stuff from Bruce Barnum. Look, you've scoured planet Earth. You've got the best stories or kind of stories that are out there. Where are we at today?
Well, keeping it kind of in college football and unusual things happening, like buying beer for everybody. There's so much going on in it. You know, everyone's building like multi-million-dollar practice facilities, but this one, I haven't seen no programs done this yet, but Texas A&M, they just unveiled these luxury game day suites. I think they're about like 7 or so miles from the stadium.
Relationships are built through shared experiences. A conversation before kickoff, a weekend with clients, time spent together. That's the idea behind Game Day Suites Aggieland. Private, individually owned spaces designed for hosting, gathering, and doing business in the heart of Aggie. Just minutes from Kyle Field. Purpose built for connection. Designed for Aggies. Game Day Suites. A place to gather. A place to connect. A place to belong.
Have you seen these?
Yeah. You know what? The first thing I looked up was when I saw 7 miles from the stadium, I thought, that's not a walk, right? That's like a hike to the stadium. And it's, again, like everybody's looking to upsell. Everybody's looking for VIP experiences. This is like, the equivalent of you're coming from out of town. You want to stay somewhere really nice. You want it to be associated with your school. This is just an upsell, upplay, glorified hotel room suite that you're getting that's 7 miles from the stadium.
I mean, I don't know. I think it works out for maybe some of their donors, or even just huge A&M fans that want to watch the game maybe without navigating like the chaos of the stadium. I mean, it looks comfortable. Did you see the price point on those things?
No, what are we talking?
562,500. Like that's over $500,000.
562,500.
Yes.
Okay.
There's custom
$500,000 or more.
Yes.
Crazy.
And you have a fully refundable though, $5,625 deposit.
Okay. So you're just putting a little deposit down, fully refundable.
No.
Look, good on them if they can get it, and I think they will, because I think what you really do is you're catering to fans who are coming from a long way away, who are just buying a glorified hotel room. This is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like simply put, but with the private chefs, shuttles, concierge services. I don't know if anyone has one and wants to invite me at some point. I would love to check it out. But yeah, I don't know when they'll be built. I think it's August of 2027, so in about a year. But it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be also interesting to see if anyone kind of copies this. But hopefully, maybe a little bit closer.
Well,
to
if they sell them, if they sell these, everyone will copy it. It's just everybody's looking for new revenue streams. But the fact that you've got this luxurious place that people can tailgate, that people can stay, you can shuttle from there. You mentioned the private chef. It's just an upsell VIP experience that's away from the stadium. So, if they're successful, it'll work. But it made me think about all those college towns that, when there's a game, it's tough to get a place to stay. It's tough to find a restaurant to eat at. It's tough to find, a parking space near the stadium. And so you're solving some problems for the donors who are willing to pony up a little extra money. But $562,500 is a little rich for my blood.
It's insane. It's insane. Speaking of other insane things, you've already touched on this before, but I wanted to dive deeper into it with you and pick your brain about it a little more. UNLV's coach making a joke about like selling the team. Did you see? This, what was your immediate thought?
Well, we had Josh Pastner on the show, a while ago, and before it was BFT Unfiltered, it was just this YouTube channel, and he was great. He's full of energy. He thinks outside the box. I'm not surprised he came up with this idea, but it was all kind of based on the concept of Las Vegas getting an NBA expansion team that they're going to pay like $6, $7, $8 billion for, and Pastner was sort of riffing and going, you don't have to pay $8 billion. You can buy a college team for a fraction of that. Now his school, and good on UNLV, his school has grabbed that and said, okay, let's roll with this. $10 million. What is the price tag to own UNLV's basketball program? And, I think he'll find a buyer. And if he does, I think you'll see others again play this copycat game. But Pastner's full of energy. He's a good coach. Full of energy, got great ideas. He reminds me a little bit of Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State.
My next one for you, this one has picked up a little bit of attraction, as a lot of Barstool stuff does. The Barstool staff posted a TikTok about, of their staff debating who's the best fictional athlete of all time. And I immediately saw it and I was like, I need to ask Jon about this.
Who popped into my head is the greatest hitter that there ever was, Roy Hobbs, from The Natural. That popped into my head, but
I've never seen that.
I also think Forrest Gump was a hell of an athlete. You saw him return a kickoff for a touchdown for Alabama in the movie Forrest Gump.
That's true.
You've got what? I don't know. I also go back to some boxers that we've seen. Rocky Balboa was a sensational, heavyweight champion. Unlikely story. This is a good topic. I love it.
Right? It's like I could go down like Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Yeah.
From the Sandlot. I feel like that's a good one. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones. Gosh, I feel like it's harder. Like I saw some that I disagreed with. Like somebody said Bugs Bunny. I said,
the whole thing made me think about though is these debates where they go, who is the greatest athlete of all time? And it used to be so frustrating for me because it's hard enough to compare people from different eras. But then some of these people would put like a racehorse on the list, Secretariat. And how do you put Secretariat on the same list as Michael Jordan and Babe Ruth and Jim Thorpe and Jesse Owens and Jackie Robinson? You can't do that. You can't put a horse on the same. It's like putting the car. You can't put someone's F1 car or an Indy car on the list of greatest athletes.
No.
Horses have to have their own list. And that's the thing that's always driven me crazy.
Athlete is so subjective, I feel like, which is weird because a lot of people don't think of it like that. But it's like if you put a long distance runner next to a linebacker, and you're like, who is a better athlete? Like that, you can't ask that, you know?
But that's the whole point of the list. It's not, you're not able to answer it, right? It's
okay,
the unanswerable question.
If you had to, I know we just talked about how you can't, but if you had to, who would you put up there at number? Give me like a
greatest athlete of all time. Greatest athlete of all time. Yes. I think it'd be hard pressed not to put Jackie Robinson at the top or near the top, or Jesse Owens, especially given what both of those guys endured. In addition to like trying to, Jesse Owens is looking up and there's Hitler up there rooting against him, right? Like the way he's performing at the Olympics. So I think you'd have to include Jim Thorpe on the list. You'd have to include an athlete like Michael Jordan on that list. Mm-hmm. I think greatest athlete of all time. I'm not going with Lance Armstrong. No, people made that case back in the day. It wasn't just about the bike, folks. We found out otherwise. But I think that you have to also think about endurance athletes versus other athletes. There's different categories too, because Michael Phelps, I think I would put on that list of maybe, is he in the category of who the greatest athlete, just for what he did. It's just so remarkable what he did on the Olympic stage. But that's a good thing. Why don't we tell our viewers in the comment section, give us 2 answers. Okay, if you've made it this far, 2 answers. 1, your greatest fictional athlete of all time. 2, your greatest athlete of all time. Put them in the comments right here on YouTube. And get yourself back here on Friday for an all-new episode. Maybe we'll talk more about it. Olivia, thank you for reading the news. Appreciate you.
Of course.